So, hello everybody. Welcome back to This is Coaching, a show where three coaches typically get together and chit chat. I am Marquise Navarro, one of the hosts. I'm joined by Monica Riva, excuse me, always every time. And then we have a guest today, Paula Schmidt. She is a good friend of ours, and because our usual coach Nicolette is out on maternity leave, if you will, I mean, really can't call it leave because she's not getting paid to do this job. It's just something we do. But she's out with a brand new baby. We've decided to start inviting some coaches in to talk about them and tell us a little bit about what they do. We kind of surprised Paula with this one, which I'm glad because it's always better when you can get an authentic reaction, right? So
Mhm.
Paula, welcome.
Hello.
So why don't you
Yeah, welcome.
tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. I mean, my name is Paula. We've established that. I work as I call myself a liminal space curator, and I'm leaning hard into that as opposed to a coach. But yeah, I see this is the thing. You want authenticity, and then I don't even know what to say.
No, that's perfectly fine. Like, so tell us
Yeah,
why you went with, and correct me, is liminal space curator.
curator. Yeah,
And
yeah.
so tell us what is that exactly?
So basically, my sort of, I guess, style of coaching is very, um, the focus is very much on the client, and it's client led. And I what I there was someone mentioned a really great way to say like what you do, and say what you do is what you believe. And what I believe is that people know what they need to do, and they know what they need, and they know what they have to do. And so that's sort of my grounding philosophy behind how I do my coaching. Um, so yeah, so it's very much, I don't know, for me when I hear the word coach, it feels very it does sort of conjure up images of a sort of strict process, which isn't always true for every coach, of course, but um, my process is the client and what the client wants. And so basically, I just create the space for them to come in and unpack their own thoughts and their own whatever's going on, and go from there and
Nice.
just see what happens.
No, I like that. So
Yeah.
I can see how going away from the term coach would actually probably be beneficial,
Mhm.
because I do get a lot of folks that ask me, what does that entail? Does that mean you're going to tell me what to do, blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, no, it's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me what you're going to do, and I'm going to hold
Yeah.
you accountable for it. No,
Yeah.
definitely. So, what got you into coaching or something resembling coaching?
Something resembling coaching. Yeah. Well, um, it was in 2019. I mean, stereotypical. I've been doing this my entire life, like basically my entire adult life. I've been holding space for people, helping them feel comfortable, helping them sort their shit out. Um, but I guess if you want to talk sort of like the official, quote unquote, official thing, it would have been 2019. Um, and I kind of had one of those fuck everything moments. And my yeah, I was working at doing IT support at the time, and I had yeah, it was just it was a very intense like week and a half, with just my entire world blew apart. Um, and it really just it was so good. I mean, it was horrible and it was terrible, and I don't wouldn't wish it on anybody, but like it just I was like, "Oh, okay, I need to start getting my shit together and doing what I want to do." And at that point, I didn't even know that coaching was a thing. I mean, I had my own preconceptions. Like if I ever heard word coach, I thought like Tony Robbins on a stage in a packed stadium screaming at people, and like I'm like, well, that's not me. So that's not clearly I'm not going to be a coach. Like it wasn't even on my radar. It wasn't even on my radar. But I knew that something had to change, and so I just started learning and researching and just trying to find something. And I ended up taking a course, and the course wasn't for coaching, but through that course I found a mentor. I would call her a mentor. And then when I started working with her, like one-on-one, I found Rich Litvin and his book and the course through Mind Valley. And I was like, oh, there's another way that you can coach and do this thing. And this is like, oh my God. And it was, Rich always talks about this hell yes, like hell yes. It was such a like, oh my fucking God. It was even more than a hell yes. It was like, I have to do this. And yeah, it's just kind of been, and the rest is sort of history from there. So I ended up taking the course, and I ended up going to Rich's live, like in-person intensive. And yeah, at the start of 2020, well, at the end of 2019, I ended up quitting the IT job, and then I started working sort of in an interim job. And then I was like, yeah, fuck that, because it turned out to be not what I needed. And then I was like, okay, all in on coaching. And I've been doing that since mid-March last year, the week before everything went crazy with COVID. So that was fun. Trial by fire, but wouldn't have it any other way. So
and yeah, because I want to say like around that time that you started in 2019 and we're getting started with everything, that's probably when you and I were connected through
yes,
uh the I think was it the EverCoach group or the Mind Valley group? I can't remember.
it was the EverCoach group for the Rich's course.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how
That
all of
was,
us actually. About that time is when all of us actually got together.
yeah, because I think we started the mastermind at that. You guys started the mastermind, and
Yep.
then I jumped in later. But
Oh, awesome. So
yeah,
like it sounds like a definite whirlwind experience getting into coaching.
yeah.
I don't have an extravagant story like that, which is why we're glad we brought you on here. Um, so how does one get a hold of, like, how are you getting your clients? Are you going door to door? Probably not because of COVID.
Yeah.
Putting on like webinars. What's going on?
Yeah. So, I mean, all of my clients that I have thus far, I mean, it's only been about a year. Um, it's literally been like the prosperous coach method. And that, for anyone who's listening or watching and doesn't know, it's a book that Rich Litvin and Steve Chandler wrote.
Mm-hmm.
And it's talking to people. And it works. It's funny. But like I I talked to people. I just offered support where I could. A couple of my clients, I had requested help because I had learned this new technique working with metaphors, which is super fun.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, Monica.
You've done that on me. It's good.
It's great, isn't it? And so when I first started learning this, it's like a technique process using metaphors to help a person understand where they are and how they're experiencing a situation. And when I first started learning it, I'm like, oh my God, I need to practice this. Like it was so like, it was like another fuck yeah, kind of thing. And so I just reached out. I'm in a couple of groups for various things, like not coaching related. Well, some of them are, some of them aren't, but I just reached out and asked for victims basically to practice on. And then a couple of them turned into clients. And so it's really, it's been interesting. Yeah,
Nice. So if I recall correctly, when we first met, you were not the extroverted type. You were more of an introvert.
yeah, I'm not an extrovert at all.
Yeah.
Not at
So
all. Not at all.
hearing you say that you actually approach people, like even if you know them or not, but you throwing yourself out there. Like
Yeah.
it goes to show what one coaching can do. Uh, both receiving and giving, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So no, that's awesome. Let's let's go back a little bit because Monica got really excited about the metaphors.
Metaphors, yeah. Those are
Yeah.
good.
So let's peek at that a little bit. Like give us a
Sure.
little bit more on what that is.
Yeah, so it's a tool, it's like a process that was developed by a man named Andrew Austin. And I love him to death. I love him. He's so cool. Um, and basically it's, I mean, I can't, I've done, he's got different levels of training, and I've done level 1 and I'm doing level 2 right now with it. Um, and yeah, it's just, the whole premise behind it is like, if you think of traditional coaching, it's really very much about um, setting goals or getting from point A to point B, or something like that.
Right.
And a lot of people know where they want to get to, like the point B, but it's almost more important to know where point A is, like where are you right now, and like what. And I've actually got a prime example of this because I lived in Japan for a year and a half, a long time ago. And my first night there, I think, so I had my little map guidebook thingy, and I went out for a walk, like my first night there. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna put myself out there. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna hole up in my little hotel and like not do anything. I'm gonna do this. And so I went out for this walk, and I was exploring, and then I got tired, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta get back home. So I gotta get back to my hostel, which is point B. And so I'm like, okay, I'm here. And I'm looking on my map, and I'm so sure that I knew where I was. And so I start walking to where I think I need to go to get to the train station to get back back to where I was staying. And I'm walking and I'm walking, I'm walking and I'm walking, I'm walking, and nothing is looking familiar. I'm starting to panic because I'm like, I'm in Tokyo, okay? I'm from a small town in Canada. I'm in this massive, massive city, okay? I've got problems with the crowds in Vancouver. Nothing like Tokyo. And so I'm so fucking lost right now. I'm like, I don't know where I am. I'm panicking. So finally I got up the courage to ask someone for help in my very broken Japanese, like, where's the train station? And I asked, it was 2 women and a man, and they kind of looked at the thing and at the map, and they're like, oh yeah, and they pointed back the way I had come. Like, so and I'm like, no, I need to go this way. And I pointed where I was going because I was so sure I knew where I needed to go. And so they're talking amongst themselves, and of course there's a huge language barrier, like they can't clarify, I can't clarify, like there's just all I can say is, where's the train station, and no, this way. Like, bless them, they didn't abandon me. But so they're looking at the map, and they're talking, and finally they're like, yes, and they start walking with me the way that I had been going. And so I'm like, oh, okay, finally felt relieved. And then we kept walking, and then I see ahead, I catch sight of a bridge over the train track, like a pedestrian bridge that went over the rail, the train track. And I'm like, oh god. And then it hit me, and I realized I was on the wrong side of the train track on the map. So I was going in completely the wrong direction, and like I should have been going back the way I'd come, but I was. So you got to know where you are.
No, that,
it,
yeah, that
I
makes a
did
lot of
get
sense.
there. I did get there, but it took me twice as long. because we
Nice.
had to go back and around and then back up on the other side of the track, the way that I thought I was going. So, long story short, this metaphor process thing, it helps you get a read on where you actually are in the situation. And what I mean when I say that is like how you're experiencing it emotionally.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and it's really powerful. It's really cool and really interesting to see what our subconscious minds come up with for how we're experiencing something. And it's just, it can give a lot of insight, I think. I know, like, when I had it done to me, like I was taken through the process myself with from my previous coach that I had. It still sticks with me. Like, I still have the metaphor in my head, and I'm like, oh, this is that thing. I gotta, it's like, oh, shit. So it really, really helps with like awareness
Yeah.
and understanding. Does that
You did it with
fit
me
for
as
you?
well, right? You did
Yeah.
it. You helped me, and when we did it together, I didn't know what to visualize to start with, but then I saw this big ocean and me in a rowboat
Yeah.
without a sail, and doing everything on my own and trying to do everything on, and that has stuck with me since then as well, because it was and you were there. You said, I'm here in another boat and I'm asking you if you want to jump in or if you want help, and I said, no, I don't want help, I have to do it on my own.
Yeah.
And that has stuck with me ever since. That has really given me such an insight
Mm,
on how I keep trying to do everything on my own and not asking for help,
mm.
and it's not serving me. And it's been such a blessing doing this with you. So
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad
metaphors
to
are
hear that.
great stuff.
Yeah. It's very
Nice.
cool.
No, that sounds amazing. It sounds like I may have to jump in and go through a session.
Yeah, you should.
Do you want to do one right now?
No, I don't.
No, I
um,
don't.
so let me ask you this: given that key word that you mentioned was, how you feel emotionally
Mm.
about your situation. So, are your clients typically men or women?
So far, it's been women. But I have taken some men through the process as well. And
Mhm.
it's not a gender specific thing. We've all got that sort of unconscious, creative, emotional side. So, um, but
And the
yeah,
reason I ask is because, like we mentioned all the time, when it comes to like emotions and everything, men are stubborn.
mm.
Uh, so my next question was going to be like, is it take a longer time to get them to the point of the realization that you're looking for? No,
No,
that's
I
good.
don't think so, because it's not like the the process itself is not it's not a what's the word? It's an exploration.
Hmm.
There's no outcome. It's just to see where you're at and see what it is. There's not sometimes because I'm really interested in it. We might do a little bit of analysis, or like well, what is something at the end of it, like that you could do with it.
Hmm.
But it's not about that. It's literally just exploring where you're at in that moment with regards to the situation. So
Okay.
is it okay to use you as an example, Monica? Like,
Of course, yeah, just use
yes.
me.
Yeah, just use you. Okay. So like with Monica, she was on like this huge ocean with a small rowboat. Like, and if I recall correctly, you had a mast, but the sail was
The
down
sail
on
was down,
it was
yeah.
sail was down, and so you were rowing and like doing all this hard work. Like, it's really just exploring the landscape and exploring what happens when you move in the landscape. And I think that's really the key part, because even if you just go the traditional coaching methods, quote unquote, it's just one step. You just
But
need
then
one
you
step.
take it from there, right? Afterwards, that's where
Well,
you
you
that's
do.
when
You
yeah,
do. Yeah.
that's what, yeah, you know what to do or how to react afterwards, now that you know.
Yeah. Yeah. it's hard to explain. It's the thing that you kind of have to experience it. I don't know, but it shows the power of just taking one step, making one change, making, that it's not any. See, this is something that I've been kind of exploring with the other sort of marketing stuff that I've been doing, but it's like any decision that we make, any action that we take is the right action, even if it might not produce the results that we think that we want or need, because there will be a lesson in there that you need to learn, whatever that is, even if it's like, I don't want to do this, or that's not what I want, or, knowing what you don't want is just as powerful as knowing what you do want. So
that is true. So it sounds like, in a way, you're taking some of the fear out of maybe taking the first step. Um, unclouding a person's thought about something. That's what it seems like to me. So
potentially, yeah, it depends on the situation and the metaphor, but yeah.
Now, are your clients using this for like more professional means, or is it kind of just all over the gambit? Personal, professional, love life and all that full stuff.
I think it's kind of, see, this is the the problem where I get into it, because it's really just what the client needs in the moment. So sometimes we might work on professional stuff, sometimes we might work on family stuff, sometimes we might work on relationships, or even just like just anything. It's really, it's what the client needs in that moment.
Okay.
I can give some examples, maybe. I don't know if that would be helpful. I don't know. It's hard to. I hate slamming it down, or like, because then it's like, oh yeah, but then there's like all these other exceptions.
And so I think we all know that when it comes to like coaching, the client will come in saying one thing and saying, I need help in this area. And then as you go through the process of whichever style you're using, it ends up being something completely different. No, I understand that. I worked with somebody like that. It was a professional thing, but at the end of the day, it wasn't. It was more of a personal thing in life in general. So no, I get it. Hard to pinpoint. Some folks work in fields in the coaching world that they just focus on, like businessmen or businesswomen, or entrepreneurs, CEOs, stuff like that, and having a niche or niche, like depends on where you're from. I don't know. Having a specific style that actually can be branched out to all sorts of genres of people is actually really good.
I found that, like, there seems to be a pattern with the clients that I'm attracting in, and they're very like interested in ideas and learning and taking in information and trying to figure stuff out. And I think that, I don't have a very big data set just yet, but like, it seems to be a pattern that it's like people who need help, or who need to reconnect with themselves in some way, like whatever that might look like. Because it seems like no matter what the issue is, there's a deeper, I don't know, mistrust, or like, it depends on the person, but like a mistrust in themselves and what they know. And so it's been really interesting working with people on that, like, kind of like, I guess, trusting your intuition is one way you could put it, or like connecting with your own, like I said before, like, people know what they need to do. I fully believe that, even if they think that they don't, they might need help clearing out the shit to get to the voice, like that's been a huge thing, a huge sort of theme in the coaching as well. But so it's, I don't know, reconnecting with your heart, your intuition, like, what, I don't know, it sounds very woo, but like, it seems to be like that's something like that. I don't know, something like that.
Because we go on with living life, most people go on living life just doing whatever they think they need to do, and nobody really questions why. So that's where a good coach comes in, right? And can really dive in and understand what's underneath it, and where you are self-sabotaging, and what you're doing wrong, and how to get on a path that is more constructive and better for you in all ways
And
of life.
And I'm gonna challenge you on that, because with the learning that I've been doing, there's no such thing as self-sabotage.
No, but keep doing the same thing. Like I keep, for
but
example,
it's not
getting back to the rowboat, me rowing. Now I know, so now I can do it differently. But not knowing, I would just keep on rowing and trying to figure out everything on my own.
Because there was a lesson there.
Right way. So there was a huge lesson there.
Yeah. So that's not self-sabotage. Do you see that you needed to
say wrong?
Yeah, but you needed to learn that lesson of the grind and trying on your own, and until the pain of that gets too much. I mean, some people don't learn, and that's okay too. Like that's their choice, that's their their life, you know, that's okay. But if the pain of trying so hard to, like, rowing the, God, I can't imagine how tiring that would be, but like doing it all on your own, there might come a point where you see that having support, or having someone with you, or having someone walk beside you, or having someone do XYZ for your business, I mean, maybe that's what you need. And so it's not, it's like, I need to go in this direction. But maybe the station's back there, but you need to take the long way around. So it's not self-sabotage, but there's lessons in that, right? There's lessons in being forced to take the long way around. So it's not, and I think that there's a lot of conflict inside of people. Like, there's there's a part of me that wants to eat healthy, and then there's a part of me that wants all the cookies and cake and everything. And I mean, neither part is wrong, really, but what do you want moving forward, and how do you integrate those two without shitting on yourself? Like that's the big thing, is even the voice in your head. I don't know if you guys have the same thing, probably do. That's like, oh, you're such a fucking idiot, why'd you just say that? Like, what are you doing? Like the negative, quote unquote, self-talk, it has a positive intention for you. It's trying to keep you safe from something. Like when I'm shitting on myself, even just saying this right now, I'm like, oh God, shut up, Paula. Like, you're such an idiot. Like, God, just shut up. But I'm trying to keep myself safe from embarrassment, or from losing clients, or from losing your respect. Like it's not self-sabotage. It's trying to keep myself safe, and understanding that. And it's like, to use a metaphor, it's like a horse-drawn carriage. If you can picture that in your mind, 6 horses, let's say 4 horses, whatever, however many horses there are, if they're all pulling in different directions, I mean, that's going to suck. It sucks. Right. But you can get them in alignment to move forward, depending on what you want to do. So it's understanding that, even though, my mind is like, you're an idiot, it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. Please don't call me that. But like, I can't shit on myself for calling myself an idiot, because then I'm just calling myself an idiot for calling myself an idiot. Right. So gotta break the cycle, So it's not self-sabotage. I that's kind of one thing. I know I'm being a little forceful on it, but like, that's kind of one thing that I've been really digging into, is there's no self-sabotage. There's no wrong decision. There's always a lesson to have been learned.
But that's also where coaches come in, because we come in as, we don't try to mend people. I mean, people are perfect just as they are, right?
Yeah. And it's just holding space and challenging people's assumptions, and asking them questions, and getting them to really dig into that belief, whatever it is that they hold, and to see if it holds water or not. So, it's, I forgot what we were talking about. I went off on a tangent
Nope,
and
it
I'm gonna
was
shush.
perfect. No, I
Yeah.
like you had a lot of good points there. I like the going away from calling it self-sabotage. I like that.
Yeah.
Because you are correct that in life, the decisions that we make do have consequences, and those
Hmm.
consequences have lessons. And some
Hmm.
of them are great. Some of them, well, all lessons are great because you learn
Yeah.
something. Um, but it's a matter of how resilient you are with
Yeah.
the bad consequences.
Yes.
And with the proper coach or mentor or family, depends, right? Because sometimes it can be all in one, in my
Yeah.
opinion. But with the proper coach and guidance, like you can pull through anything.
Yeah.
Um,
And I do want to caveat this, because I can hear people, what about this? What about that? Um, and I hear you, because my Japan story,
mhm,
when I went to Japan, I had a breakdown when I was there,
mm,
and I had to come home because of that, and it took me 10 years to get over that. So it's not, I mean, I'm not saying that you should get over something like that if it's
right.
really a difficult situation, like if you went through hell and back. It's not, I'm not saying that, you should get over something or not. It's because it's fucking hard. It can be really fucking hard. Um, and I've been through that,
Mhm,
you know. uh, Losing 10 years of your life is nothing to fucking shit on at
right.
all. So like, it's not, um yeah, I just don't want to, be dismissive of people's pain and what they've
Right.
been through and that sort of thing. So I just wanted to really reiterate that.
No,
So
yeah,
yeah.
I think that's another thing that so we mention on a regular basis. Typically, coaches do what they do because they've been there and experienced it, most likely.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I think we all tend to coach based on our past experiences.
Mm,
Like that's, and we all have different methods of coaching, and we enjoy different methods of coaching.
yeah.
And I think that's important, which is another reason why we wanted to start bringing other coaches on,
Nice.
to talk about what they do, who they're working with, and to let folks in our audience know, hey, it's not, just one size fits all. It's, hey, there's a shit ton of coaches out there
Mm,
that do different things for different people.
yeah.
And I think it's also important to know that coaches realize, these good coaches will realize when they can't coach somebody. Um, so another reason why you need to have so many good friends like I do that are
Yeah.
coaches, um, because I've actually referred folks to other people because I couldn't help them. Like,
Mm,
this isn't my area. I'm not equipped to get you through this,
yeah.
but I know somebody who can. And I'm like, here's their phone number. Give them a call. Tell them I said hello. Um,
Yes.
so no, yeah, it's very important. I'm glad you mentioned that. So to kind of wrap this up a little bit, do you have a website?
I do. paulaschmidt.ca.
So go ahead and spell that for the people that probably
Oh yeah.
aren't gonna see this
So
and
it's
like read it. They're just gonna listen.
it's PAULASCHMIDT.ca.
Awesome. And what about your social media? Your socials? What do we
My
got there?
socials. Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I do have Instagram and LinkedIn, I think.
Okay.
I'm never on there, but I think I'm there. But yeah, connect with me on Facebook. I prefer that. Don't ask me
Awesome.
what the Facebook thing is. It's linked on my website, which I gave
Okay.
you, so you can find it there.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, yeah, I want to thank you for joining us today. I didn't want to take up all of your day, but it's again really important that people hear from other coaches other than myself, Monica, and Nicolette. Um, but yeah, thanks, Monica. Anything?
No, that's fun, wonderful. And yeah, and go and check her out. Paula is really a great coach.
Nice. Thanks, guys. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
thank you.
And as usual, if you guys have any questions, any comments, concerns, you guys want to jump on an actual coaching session, you can go email us at thisiscoachingshow@gmail.com. Hit us up or leave a comment in the video on YouTube or hit us up on Anchor. Until next time, thanks, guys.